When you open up a distribution board, you'll see an array of circuit breakers all lined up neatly in rows. Some of these breakers look pretty simple, with just one terminal screw for the line and one for the load. But, if you look a bit closer at others, you might spot something different. A breaker with 2 or even more terminals on one side. These extra terminals might be stacked side by side or arranged in pairs. At first glance, having multiple terminals like that can be a bit puzzling. Are they just extra connection points? Are they meant for more wires? Or is it just a sort of manufacturing quirk? For homeowners or folks just starting out in electrical work, it's really easy to wonder why one breaker looks different from the rest. Seeing these differences often makes people pause before they start wiring. Should they use all the terminals? Is it safe to connect more than one wire to the same side? The design seems intentional, but honestly, it isn't always obvious what you're supposed to do with it. So what's the real reason behind these multiple terminals on some breakers? Let's dig in, step by step. When people spot breakers with more than one terminal, the questions really start rolling in. Are these terminals interchangeable? Can you split the wiring between them, or are they for a special purpose only? Is connecting more than one wire to the same terminal a shortcut or a mistake? These questions are genuinely important. Using the wrong terminal or connecting wires incorrectly could definitely lead to problems down the road. Some folks wonder if the manufacturer made a mistake, or if maybe the electrician before them didn't quite know what they were doing. Others might think that more terminals mean more power, or maybe even some hidden feature. Another common question is whether it's okay to mix different wire types or sizes in the same terminal. People often want to know if they can feed 2 circuits from one breaker, or if it's just for convenience. Some even ask if you can use a multi-terminal breaker to bypass a crowded bus bar or to piggyback extra circuits. These are all really good questions. Understanding the answers can help prevent mistakes and, more importantly, keep your wiring safe and reliable. Let's start with the basics. What are line and load terminals? The line terminal on a breaker is where power enters from the main supply or bus bar. You can sort of think of it as the entry door for electricity. The load terminal is where power flows out to your devices, lights, outlets, or appliances. In most breakers, you'll find one line terminal at the top or bottom and one load terminal on the opposite side. The line terminal gets connected to the source of power, like the big copper bus bar, inside the panel. The load terminal delivers current to the branch circuit wiring. It's really important to wire each one correctly. Mixing them up can cause confusion, loss of protection, or even damage to your equipment. Manufacturers label them clearly. The side-marked line receives incoming power, and the side-marked load takes it away to where it's needed. So when you see multiple terminals, you'll notice they're usually grouped on either the line or load side. Each set is designed for a purpose, not just for looks. Not a mistake. Seeing more than one terminal can definitely make you wonder if something went wrong, but don't worry, this is not a mistake. Manufacturers add multiple terminals on purpose. They design breakers this way for specific wiring needs and to increase flexibility in the panel. It's not about fixing a design flaw, it's about giving electricians and installers more options. This can be really helpful when circuits need to split or when the panel gets a bit crowded. Sometimes it's for connecting extra circuits, sometimes for making bus bar connections easier. The key thing to remember is that these terminals are tested and rated for the job. If you follow the manufacturer's instructions, they are just as safe and reliable as a single terminal breaker. You're not cheating or breaking any rules by using them as intended. If you've ever felt unsure about using all the terminals, just relax. As long as you respect the guidelines, multiple terminals are there to help, not to confuse. Breakers with more than one terminal are designed for good reasons. Let's look at 3 of the most important ones: load distribution, wiring flexibility, and bus bar integration. First up, load distribution. Sometimes a single breaker needs to feed more than one circuit. Multiple terminals allow you to connect two separate wires, each carrying power to a different branch. This helps spread out the load and keeps your wiring neat. Second, wiring flexibility. In tight panels or when adding new circuits, multi-terminal breakers let you connect wires without overcrowding one terminal. It saves space, reduces clutter, and makes future maintenance easier. Third, busbar integration. Some breakers are designed to connect directly to a bus bar and also to a branch circuit at the same time. For example, one terminal may clamp onto the bus bar, while another accepts a wire, making installation faster and more secure. These features make multi-terminal breakers a smart choice in complex or busy panels. Now, let's talk about what happens inside the breaker when there are multiple terminals. All the load terminals on one side are internally linked. This means they're electrically the same point inside the breaker, sharing the same contact and protection mechanism. When current enters the line side, it passes through the breaker's protection device. From there, it splits between the available load terminals, depending on what's connected to each one. The total current can't exceed the breaker's rating, but it can divide among the circuits. If you connect two wires to two separate load terminals, each wire gets the power it needs based on the demand at the other end. The breaker will trip if the combined current goes above its limit, just like with a single terminal breaker. This internal connection is safe and intentional, provided you don't overload the breaker or use wires thicker than specified. Even with a well-designed breaker, wiring mistakes can happen. One common mistake is stuffing two or more wires into a single terminal when the breaker only allows one wire per terminal. This can lead to loose connections and overheating. Another mistake is mixing different wire sizes in the same terminal. Thick and thin wires don't clamp evenly, which means one wire could slip out or make a poor connection. That can cause dangerous arcing or even fires. People also forget to tighten terminal screws to the correct torque. Too loose and wires can wiggle free. Too tight and you risk damaging the wire or the breaker terminal. Some even confuse the line and load sides, wiring them backwards, which can cause equipment to malfunction. All these mistakes are preventable. A few extra minutes spent double-checking your work can make a big difference in safety. To wire a breaker safely, always start by reading the manufacturer's instructions. They'll tell you how many wires you can connect, what sizes are acceptable, and what torque to use. Ignoring these details can void your warranty and risk your safety. Use a torque screwdriver or wrench to tighten terminals to the specified value. Hand tightening is rarely enough. Strip wires to the correct length so no bare copper is exposed, but also so the full conductor fits in the terminal. If you're using stranded wire, add ferrules to the ends. Ferrules keep the strands together and make for a cleaner, safer connection. Before inserting a wire, make sure it's clean, no corrosion, oil, or debris. By following these steps, you'll reduce the chance of loose wires overheating or accidental shorts. Single-terminal breakers are the standard choice for most home circuits. They work well when you only need to connect one branch circuit per breaker. They're simple, reliable, and easy to inspect. Multi-terminal breakers shine in more complex setups. If you need to feed two circuits from one breaker or connect both a busbar and a wire, they make the job easier. This is common in commercial panels, sub-panels, or places where space is tight and wiring needs to be flexible. The downside: multi-terminal breakers can tempt people to overload them or to mix wire sizes. They require more care and attention to avoid mistakes. Always check the breaker's label to be sure you're wiring it the right way. Choose the type that fits your project and follow all guidelines for safe installation. Proper wiring is more than just a neat job. It's a matter of safety. Small mistakes like loose wires or overloaded terminals can lead to big problems. Overheating, arcing, and even electrical fires can all start with a simple wiring error. Taking time to do the job right means reading instructions, using the right tools, and double-checking every connection. Don't rush, don't guess, and never ignore the manufacturer's warnings. Remember, circuit breakers are there to protect you and your home, but they can only do their job if you wire them correctly. If you're ever in doubt, call a licensed electrician for help. In electrical work, a little extra care goes a long way. Safe wiring protects people, property, and peace of mind.